Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's another Monday, which means another night spent on a Setta Corsa Competizione. Welcome to the finale of the Cup Car Cup, or as I have been lovingly called it all season, the Cup. Ferrari 488s, Porsche 992 Cup cars, and Lamborghini Super Trofeos, all taking to the same circuit at the same time. It's been an absolutely brilliant season, and now it's all come to the one that everybody has been looking forward to, myself especially. We're at the Circuit Internazionale di Monza for the final round, and it's especially interesting because, well, as we already see now that we're in a bit of qualifying, those Ferraris sure are a bit closer than you'd expect on the back of the Lamborghinis. My name is Jack Mays. Joining me, as has become customary on a good old Monday, is none other than Mr. Callum Kerwin. And of course, Ash Bibby is our director, our champion, our steward, our goat in the booth. It's a wonderful day out, Callum. It's a beautiful northern Italian afternoon, and the sounds of engines and hot petrol are ringing in our ears. How you doing?
Sounds of hot petrol. I'm liking the sound of that one. But no, it's boiling out. It's 28 degrees air temp and 35 track temp, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit because I speak in British units. So yeah, we've joined partway through qualifying just because they're all doing their tyre warming phase. Not that that would have taken that long with the fact that the track temp is currently through the roof. I mean, slick GT tyres, you want them to be operating at about the 90 to 100 degrees C range for them to have the most optimum grip, and then around, I think it's about anywhere between 28 and 30 psi, depending on the car and the track and the combination of everything. But no, they should all be up to temp and setting what we think are now going to be representative times. So it's Lamborghinis on top, 1 to 4, and then it's a battle of the Ferraris about half a second back so far, we think. So it's not quite as close as we thought it would be. Ferrari's very, very quick in a straight line because they do have the horsepower advantage.
Yeah, 520 odd for a Porsche, 620 odd for a Lamborghini, and 670 odd for 488. Though there is no argument about which one sounds the best. It is the Lamborghini on board with Andy Boardman for a trip around Monza. It's a circuit that pretty much everybody knows. It's the Temple of Turn 1 incidents, as I like to call it. But they're all professionals here. It'll probably be nice and clean on through 1, but we're through 1 and 2 now, down towards Curva Grande and into the second chicane. It does have a different name in Italian, but I'm not going to attempt to call it that. Everybody just knows it as the second chicane. Lesmo 1 is the corner after. I think a sneaky difficult corner on this circuit because you're almost blind to your turn in. You don't have a ton of room on the exit. Lesmo 2, a bit easier. You can see where you're going. You can sort of smash the inside curb if you're really feeling like it. But the exit is super duper important as we go for the long run down towards Ascari. This is Ferrari territory on this circuit. Getting ready, smattering the brakes into Ascari, sort of taking it easy on the curbing, maybe getting a little bit too deep into it. A little bit of a wiggle for Andy Boardman, who does seem like he's a bit on the back foot, I will admit. This has been our guy that's maybe he's not been the fastest, but he's been very close on the back of the man who's currently on provisional pole. Final corner now, Parabolica, the symbol, the true symbol of Monza. The exit onto the main straight, and down he goes. He is not really up on his time, so I don't expect any improvement, and there isn't any as he comes across the line. But yeah, no, I mean, for Boardman, Callum, let's not forget there is a bit of a championship on the line for him. So I don't know if he doesn't do the work in qualifying, it is going to make his day just that little bit more difficult.
Yeah, he wants to be at least sort of up there and close. I think this is a little bit further than he'd like to be from Nico Kumpu. So yeah, but we've got, speaking of people who are a bit further up, Will Stevenson has joined, graced us for a round with his presence in his bright yellow Lamborghini, of that of King Brothers Racing. So he is currently only 2 tenths off the pace, which I think is quite impressive, bearing in mind he's literally jumped into this car. And I don't think has raced any other rounds, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't certainly seen him in the rounds I've commentated on. So, yeah, he's just jumped in and he's only 2 tenths off the pace, which is probably where Boardman would like to be right now. But alas, he's still got another minute and 55 to give it a go. So he's got this lap and one more. And then running down the orders, we've got the Ferrari of Ammo Plate, and then Ted Edwards, and then Kevin Boss in 7th place. Miso Stubner in 8th. Billy is currently screaming in my ears, trying to get me to pronounce this very difficult name of the number 14 Porsche, of which I'm going to.
You know, I don't think it's that difficult.
More times.
No,
you don't think it's like
no, you're doing it right now. They can all hear me, so you can't ignore me. Go for it.
Spinicus?
You got to go full name. Give it a go.
I've just said the surname. I'll work my way up to the full name as we get.
It's Todvidus Finkinus is how we're going to be saying it.
The thing is, you're saying that confidently, but it's 100% wrong. It's just it sounds good because you're saying it confidently.
Yeah, that's the commentator's code.
We're not saying it right at all. Petition's still in for the channel where they can all say their names to us, so we can know what they all are meant to sound like, and then proceed to still butcher them for every round of the season. But no.
Well, it's already Discord in here. We've already basically lost our minds, and we're still not even to the race yet. As a reminder, it was a 15-minute qualifying session that is in the last 30 seconds, followed by the hour-long sprint race. Mandatory pit stop, fixed refueling time. There's no mandatory tire change, but well, I would say, but normally we've been hearing a lot of tire changes, but like, it's Monza. They'll probably be all right. Elbow plate coming across the line. The honestly, the wizard in the 488 as it's been all season, but you know, not as far ahead in qualifying as we're used to seeing. I did see very briefly Ted Edwards is way up on his time, so there may be some more in him if he can find himself coming around for another lap. This is sort of the benchmark. The man that's been setting the benchmarks pretty much all the way through the season, I think, save for round 2. Struggling just a bit at Coda, but everywhere else, an absolute missile.
Well, Ted is currently on his last lap, and he's coming down towards Ascari now, so he's just gone through the end of the second sector, and he's coming through, so we'll see if he manages to go up on his time as well or not. Doesn't invalidate it on the exit. It's close,
he's
but
not
he doesn't
exactly
invalidate
up.
it, but he's not attacking, so I'm assuming
he's going to need to find 2.5 tenths. He's going to need to find 2.5 tenths in Parabolica, and that's going to be very impressive if he does. Actually, he found about a tenth mid-corner, but then lost it all on the exit at tail his oldest time.
Yeah, you can tell there that he's had enough. He knows that's not going to be one of the pits anyways to round it off. So still Miso Stubner circulating and Emo Platt to try and better their positions. Miso Stubner beating 2 Ferraris in a Porsche that we said wasn't going to be competitive at all this week. So very impressive from him.
Yep, I would agree.
That's not going to be the line through the exit of Ascari. That's what happens there when you catch the bumps wrong on the curves all the way through, and you've got no control, and it just spits you out.
Yeah, Emo Plot getting ready to come across the line. It is a very slight improvement by about 0.03, but, you know, still something to put on the board. Still a bit of distance between himself and the fastest Ferrari. We haven't said his name yet, but he is, well, rather unsurprisingly, on the pole is Nico Kumpu, the current championship leader, the championship elect, if you will. And Will Stevenson, I'm not terribly surprised to see him immediately jump in and be quick. I most recently remember him driving around the Porsche Cups. He was absolutely rapid in those, so I think he just prefers a good old Cup car. Matt Malcolm is in third, out qualifying Andy Boardman, so I think a little bit of a chip on his shoulder for the final round. Will it stay that way? I don't know. It's about an hour to decide, but Andy Boardman, he's got a lot of work to do. Looking a little bit on the back foot. I think he needs to win this race, and I do believe that Kumpu needs to come third, so a difficult run for the championship for him. Emo Platz, of course, the fastest Ferrari for the moment, followed by Ted Edwards joining on, well, the front Ferrari row that isn't the front row, but you know what I mean. Kevin Boss is in 7th, just behind them. Miso Stubna are well, really one of the lone surviving regulars in the Porsche Cup field, who has been, quite frankly, very, very quick. So it'll be fun to see them coming to grips with fighting a bunch of Ferraris that are faster than they are, because last week that was not the case. Peter Varga is in 9th. Mike Redford is in 10th. And Tautvidas Sfinkinis is in 11th. And before we move on to the patented BB Grid Walk, we are going to have the standings as we come in to the final round. Nico Kumpu is first overall. Everybody scored together, but let's be honest, we're really sort of looking at it as a class by class championship, though. Looking good for Miso Stubna, considering the few Lamborghinis that are missing. But it is Kumpu at the top of the field, followed closely by Andy Boardman. Stubna is in 3rd. Joe Dauber is in 4th. Thibaut Roskamp 5th. Matt Malcolm 6th. Varga 7th, which, I'll be honest, I actually didn't even realize that Peter Varga was leading ahead of Emoplot in this championship. That is actually mighty impressive from them. It shows show up, be consistent, booyah. Mike Redford is in 9th. Raphael Huel, 10th. Kevin Boss, 11th. Ted Edwards in 12th. Adam Krekske and Osi Alaranta are 13th and 14th. Lily Armstrong, Tautvidas Sfinkinis, Farkas Patrick, and Red Bouchatera round out our point scorers. Marian Tessara and Lars Euchre. They're there. They're haven't scored, and quite frankly, they haven't raced so far in this season. But I will say, Callum, we're getting ready to go, and I'm gonna miss this championship already. I know we have another hour to go, but I have thoroughly enjoyed this format.
Yeah, it's thrown up some interesting scenarios that we didn't quite expect, especially thinking about the weather last week as well, that sort of rebalanced the classes as we thought they were. But it's been difficult with the sense of the classes not being quite as close as you want them to be, just because then it does create sort of a separate race between these lot. But some guys have managed to, Mr. Stubnit's 3rd in the championship, despite being in arguably probably one of the slower cars of the series in terms of just how quick the Porsche is and how much of a deficit it has in a straight line. But he's managed to make his way up to 3rd. So it does show that, a bit of driver skill and showing up consistently and getting consistent results is even more important than what car you're in and what class you're in. So he's done massively well for that, but he's down in 8th at the moment. So we'll see if he tries to lunge up one of the Ferraris on the inside. Obviously that is the main overtaking spot here at Monza, but I will be expecting to see some opportunistic moves. Maybe, some slipstreaming down into the second chicane, or, something up towards Ascari maybe, if someone wants to get a little bit spicy, but we'll have to see how it goes. Ted Edwards there in the Race Ventura livery, with that tribute on the top for Yuha. Obviously, we spoke about that last week before the race started.
Kevin's
Kevin
got
Boss,
his own tribute.
he's got
King's
his own
Day.
tribute.
Apparently,
Yeah.
it is King's Day in the Netherlands, so he went for Orange, that is also championing his favorite cereal brand, and I don't know, it says a lot about you, Kevin. And if you hide it like you're ashamed of it, Monster Cox. That's apparently a cereal brand. I don't know if it's real. I think it's entirely fake, but I don't know. He puts it on all of his race cars, and it's
I've seen the logo before, but I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was.
It's what he likes.
Up as commentator.
It's what he likes, Callum. That's all there is to that.
Some people do like
no
that.
Judgment. No judgment here. I just want to be clear.
No judgment here. Some people do like it.
Some people do like it, as Redford, of course, in his very classic not sheep racing mobile. That's like it's the two staples for my Monday career has been the Wheelie Slow livery and the not sheep racing livery. It's like everywhere I look, those two are always somewhere around. Engines are firing up. Everyone's getting ready to go for the formation, and Kumpu for I believe there's a possibility that he's been on pole in all but one race. I believe round 1, race 1, Joe Dauber was on pole. Otherwise, it has been Kumpu's show. So,
I'm
see
surprised
how
to
it
see
goes.
Joe Dormer not here, starting from the back.
Yeah, probably some. I imagine the man's busy.
Yeah,
He's busy.
obviously these are all very busy men. I know Kevin can only do some of the rounds because he has different commitments, and it's quite impressive that we managed to get people doing every single round. I mean, I certainly can't do it with the way I work and stuff like that. So props to these guys for showing up for every single one.
Zoom makes us all happy. Ash would
It
like
does.
us to know that he's here every round. I mean, I'm here pretty much every round, and I don't just do Mondays. Ash, this is a measuring contest, but we're all great. No, it is wonderful to see. It is wonderful to see the commitment that everybody has. Everybody loves a little bit of Zoom, bang bang crash at Monza. Naturally, there's gonna be a bit of crashing, but no,
we have our special Monday lot that sort of show up for every single one as well, which is quite nice. They're all quite close together and friendly, and they'll go knock 7 bells out of each other and sit in a Discord call laughing about it for the next hour. So it is quite nice. It's a good group of people.
Oh, wonderful, and just a great community in general is RCI, and for that special Monday lot, big news, though they probably all are already aware of it at this point, and I will talk more about it later on. But the newest, the final edition of ACC Mondays for the time being has been announced. That is the great and grand return of the Mini British GT, except for we got 2 extra rounds, so 8-round championship GT3s, GT4s. Sign-ups went live about 3 hours ago, and that will be beginning in about 3 weeks' time. I think 3 weeks on the dot. That will be beginning. So get your signups in for that, and we'll talk more about that towards the end of the race. But just a little teaser. We'll say signups are also open for Fridays. They are almost completely full. If you want to drive a hypercar, too bad. There were 16 hypercars that signed up within the first day. However, there's 20 spots in LMGT. Say that.
Yeah, 25 and 25 in the GT3 and GT4 categories, so 50 spots on our Mini British GT grid. So plenty of space, but they are.
Yes.
I mean, like you said, it's been out for 3 hours, and we already have 5 people signed up in GT3, and I think 7 in GT4. So they are going quite quickly. Bear in mind, it has literally only been out since about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you wanted to race that, subgrid.com and then search RCI, you'll find it on there, or follow the links in the Discord in the relevant channels.
Yeah. We're getting ready to get going here at Monza for the final time. The Tifosi just absolutely elated. I mean, it's kind of I mean, it's a happy day for the Tifosi because let's be honest, the 2 quickest cars on circuit are both Italian. It's I would almost wonder, if this were entirely real in any way whatsoever, is it more a Lamborghini favor field? Is it more a Ferrari favored crew watching the race? I'm a Lamborghini guy myself. If you don't like the Lamborghini, your opinion isn't valid because it's awesome and wonderful, and it's got one of the best engines in a very long time, I must say. But enough waffling for me, at least for 45 seconds, because we are about to go green for the final time here in the Car Cup. It is an excellent start, I have to say, from both the pole sitters. They're about even, but it seems like Will Stevenson has just got that little bit more drag on Kumpu, so it is going to be a late breaking fight. Kumpu has got that inside line, a little bit of a squeeze for Stevenson. He holds firm there. Everybody stacking up into one. Not really any contact, not really any drama from the rest. A little bit in the rear. I think that was Boardman going into Malcolm just a little bit. But other than that, a great start from the rest. Ted Edwards, though, making his way up past Emo Plate at the very beginning. So a very, very good start for them. And quite frankly, the Porsches are in the back, Callum. They pretty much drop back almost immediately. But here's Kevin Boss thinking about it. He's got actually the run coming out of the second chicane, but overtaking around the outside of Lesmo 1 very difficult to do, but he doesn't even need to work that hard on it. He's just got well and truly by.
He's slow on the exit, though.
Yeah, very slow. Side by side in Lesmo 2 are the two Ferraris. They're giving each other lots and lots of space. Peter Vargas in the back. He's looking really hungry. I wonder, maybe a little bit of bump draft? Maybe a little bit of a bump?
Peter Vargas only 4 points behind Emo Platt in the championship. So Peter Vargas is going to want to try and slide his way through here, down on the inside to Ascari. Kevin Boss breaks away ahead. Peter Vargas goes downside the inside of Emo Platt. Emo Platt's all up over the curb, so Vargas swings it around the outside and then gets got into the back of by Emo Platt, and this brings Mike Redford to nearly a standstill, and then Miso Stubner, he's had the Porsches at the back, he's jumped one Ferrari through Ascari just by putting his car in the right place and not getting us caught up in the melee. We'll see how strong the slipstream is as Peter Varga runs out really wide, so Emo Platt's going to make his way past on the inside before they even get over the line. He should be clear by the time they come to the corner, but Peter Varga will duck back in and then try and send one down the inside maybe. He'll think about it, he'll shake for it, so Emo Platt has to give him the room on the way in, but then tucks back in and nearly hits Miso Stubner. Didn't realise that the Porsche was coming in late on the brakes, but fortunately Miso with the awareness there to get out of it, and then he's got Mike Redford at the back of it thanks to the horsepower advantage of that Ferrari there.
Yeah, it looks like Redford is just going to pretty much breeze past an extra 150 brake horsepower, a little bit less drag, but the interesting thing is, though, the Porsches have such an advantage on the brakes. You're going to see Stubner, he's going to have to not go into the back of the Ferrari, but he's going to close up because they can brake about, 50, 60, 70 meters later than the Ferraris. A change for the lead at the front on the previous lap. Nico Kumpu doing his best, being as defensive as he possibly can be, with Will Stevenson coming around. And is Stevenson going to brake really late? Maybe a bit of a switchback? Don't know.
We don't know because the replay cuts off.
That makes me sad.
Will Stevenson's gapped about 0.8 of a second to Nico Kumpu, and Nico Kumpu's having to look in front and behind because Matt Malcolm is now coming into play as Will extends a little bit but doesn't really lose much from it. You've got to be careful though, because if you do go too far, that will give you a track limit warning, and you do not want to be getting a time penalty around here, because you will have to serve that in your stop if you get it before the pit stops. But Will Stevenson is currently ahead of Nico Kumpu, and then Ted Edwards is still leading Kevin Boss ahead of Emo Platt and Peter Varga, and Miso Stubner is ahead in the Porsche class as well.
Yeah, I do think the way that that Will was lining up into one, I do think it was a bit of an up and under on Kumpu. He sort of forced a bit of a later break, and he found his way through and maybe went around in turn 2. So apologies for missing that. Everyone, the tool never breaks, is all I will say about that. But it is a fight at the front, unlike one that we've really seen for most of the routes. Quite honestly, Nico Kumpu's thereabouts has had it all to himself. He's usually had a Boardman close behind, but never like this. Never going, never having to be this close, and coming out of the second chicane, that 0.8 gap sort of disappearing just a bit, now down to 3.5, 4/10, but it is around that half-second margin. But Will Stevenson, he's come back to ACC after a bit of a hiatus here on RCI, but he's not going slowly. He's not going quietly. He's turned the key, and he's absolutely slammed his foot to the floor.
Yeah, Will in that change in livery actually. He's not taking the form of the Broker Poker today. He's got the King Brothers Racing livery, which, if you're a fan of UK karting, you'll have heard of King Brothers Racing. They're quite a big team in endurance karting. I think they won the Daytona 24 last year, I know, because one of the YouTubers that I watch is a karting YouTuber, and he raced with them. So I don't know if Will has anything to do with them in real life, but that is a very famous kart team, and they use those colours. So I'm imagining... Oh yeah, you're pointing that out to me, Jack, and I realise that I'm completely wrong. I'm getting Les and Will mixed up, even though they're nothing to do with each other, which I found out the last time they raced together. That despite having the same surname, that we all think they're long lost brothers, Jack, but yeah, it's yet to be proven.
Oh, listen, I can forgive you for mixing up last names. I often mix up first names, which We'll see if that might make a reappearance in the upcoming mini British GT, excuse me, because it sounds like both Callums will be taking to the circuit at one point or another. So that'll be fun for us up in the box. But yes,
Hey,
no,
if the guy out there on Facebook Marketplace is listening, please sell me that foil base because I need it to take part. Thank you very much.
Yep. Please respond at your earliest convenience, which also means right now.
Well, not right now. Maybe leave it an hour. I've got stuff to do for an hour.
Maybe leave it. No, we're just gonna hear you suddenly scurry away and leave me all alone, which I wouldn't actually call that offended. You gotta do what you gotta do. Well, Lisa Stubda, though, holding on to the back of Mike Redford. Redford seeming like he's a little bit off the pace. I don't think he's really quite gotten along with the Ferrari as well as he has with other cars in other championships. I think it's just it requires a very unique driving style, does the Ferrari, that we've learned about throughout this season. And if you can't really adjust, you'll be able to do it. It might be a little bit off. I think it's the brakes, though. Callum keeping the Porsche in contention. Granted, Miso is also incredibly quick, so it's probably getting just about the best out of that Porsche, and it's the braking zones that are bringing him closer and closer, because he's, 6/10 coming into the Parabolica, and I could probably say on the exit here he's going to be less than 6/10. Yeah, he's about half a second, which will then open back up, but I think neither of them will have that lonely of a race, and one makes a mistake, I think. A bit of a fight on their hands, but still at the front. Callum, what's up? We do know Nico Kumpu, very patient, very, very patient. So I think he's going to be very happy to sit here, 4/10, 5/10 back behind Will Stevenson. They're gapping the field behind, so he just knows, hey, I don't actually need to win this race to win the championship. But also, as soon as an opportunity presents itself, even if it's in 20 minutes, Kumpu's going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, equally though, Nico would happily sit behind for the next 50 minutes and then make a move on to the last lap and just dash Will's hopes of winning the race. So, yeah, he's going to be a patient boy. It might come down to pit stops if these guys are going to pound around within half a second of each other for the next 20-odd minutes or so. That will then come into play. We'll have to see what happens with those and when they decide to. It did make a massive difference last week with the pit stops phases and really change the order around a little bit, so we'll have to see what happens there. But for now, you've got Les Stevenson on my brain now. Will still leading into Parabolica with Nico in tow. They've gapped Matt Malcolm by about 5 seconds now, so they're quite comfortable out front, and they've sort of done that strategy of pushing themselves along together to form a gap, and then maybe we'll start seeing them fighting once they get a bit more comfortable. But going back to Mike Redford, he was sort of being kept in play by that battle that was happening between Emo Platt and Peter Varga, and it's sort of dropped back a little bit now just due to that battle. I'm not going to say ending, but taking a brief intermission, probably more like, because I would put money on them two coming back up close to each other again and having another battle. But Matt Malcolm still ahead of Andy Boardman. Looks like Andy Boardman's championship hopes might be a struggle this weekend, this week, because of just how quick the front two are.
Yeah, and I will say, I do believe this is Mr. Joe Dauber, who's in the chat right now, who made a very, very good point, which is that Nico is very good on tires, and has been good on tires for this season in this car, because Cup cars generally, they don't have their tires don't last as long as they do in proper big boy GT cars. They're not really designed to last that long, and also with the lack of downforce, you do a bit more sliding about, but you might save the time in the pit stop and not change tires. That is worth 5 seconds, so a very good shout from the man who I believe is Joe Dauber in the YouTube chat.
That is Joe Dauber.
Thank you. See, YouTube's done the thing. I don't know when it happened.
Yeah, I don't know why it's done it. It's really annoying.
It shortens everybody's username to their actual username rather than their display name. So yeah, I just have to guess who everybody is on myself. Everybody needs to put, I don't know, a footnote on their comment, be like, this is the word of Joe Dauber or whoever. Yeah. But Matt Malcolm right now is sitting pretty in not really getting hustled at all by
Well, he could be
Boardman
doing that
behind.
strategy of saving tyres and not stopping. Because it's not that demanding the track for tyres, because most of it is straight. So he might be thinking, if I just go easy on this, I could make it the full hour on one set, and then that would bring him back into play for at least Nico Company. Nico's, I think, made a mistake actually, because he's dropped back quite a bit. He's now 2.5 seconds behind Will Stevenson, and he's a lot closer to Matt Malcolm. Nothing on the tool, we're being told, but that sort of a gap opening up in 30 seconds or so usually means the driver's had a bit of a lock-up. Maybe he's gone straight through at turn 1. I'd imagine, just based on where he is, that that's the most likely scenario, but can't see that 100%, and definitely can't bring you a replay of it if the tool doesn't say anything. It doesn't allow Ashby to click on it. So, but Will Stevenson is he's pushing. He's still pushing.
He can get away with that, but no,
quick.
I think I think my best bet is his last lap was about 2 seconds off for Nico Kumpu. I think it was something at the end of the lap.
Probably more likely a moment or a snap of understeer in parabolic, or the tail's kicked out or something, and it's sent him round.
I gotta say, every time those Lamborghinis hit that apex curve coming out over the curve, I guess the exit curve, but whatever, it is the apex curve, just the corner at the end of the section. But every time they hit it, they're basically 2 wheels up in the air, and I think that they're going to bang hit the ground and immediately spin. But everybody's doing it. It looks remarkably composed once it hits the ground. So I guess, I don't know, Lamborghini built a bit different. But, at the moment, Stevenson is bringing the pain down on Nico just a tad, but 2.5 seconds. It's coming down just a bit. Kevin Boss is happily in 6th, which is 2nd for the Ferraris, and doing a good job. Doing the king proud, I guess. I don't know. It's King's Day.
I didn't know Denmark had a king.
Well, because it's King's Day. Sorry, he's in the King's Day livery. Also, yeah, wrong. See, that's a mistake I would make as an American.
King. It does. It's King Wilhelm Alexander.
Doing that guy proud is Kevin Boss. But I have to say, hats off to Ted Edwards. He is, he's obviously quick. He's leading. He made a move in the very beginning of this race, but he's not for lack of pace, because he's absolutely crushing it. He's been quicker lap over lap than pretty much everybody else, hence his gap on the rest of the field. But the big thing for me, because as I said, Emil Blade is the benchmark generally for the 488s, at least as far as this season is concerned. Ted Edwards, his fastest lap is about 1.5, 0.2 quicker on the quickest lap. So Ted's quicker than the benchmark right now, so absolutely driving the wheels off of it in the first 15 minutes.
Oh, he's sideways through that. He's just hit that curb the wrong way. You can cut that curb in like the perfect way, and it will gain you quite a bit of time. But if you go a millimetre too far inside of it, you get a track cut, and if you go a millimetre too far outside of it, it will spit you into the wall at 150 miles an hour. So it's very difficult to do that. So most of the drivers are taking a safer line in the races. Maybe they did try it in qualifying, but yeah, Emma Plate's just struggling a little bit. He's on the same pace as the guys in front roughly. He's not losing massive amounts of time, but he's not gaining quite as much back as we thought from his qualifying performances so far this season. So he's still there, but Peter Vargas equally still lurking in the background, waiting for any mistakes. So as the pit window opens, we've got 45 minutes left, so these guys have half an hour to make a stop. They have to do it before the 15-minute mark. They have to be in pit lane, so hopefully everyone manages to navigate that properly. We haven't had anyone make any mistakes in terms of pitting too late so far this season, but indeed pitting too early. There's a bit of dustbins thrown up there, so maybe someone off the line. It would be Kevin Boss, but he's not in the foreground of the shot, so we'll have to see. He's still holding station behind Ed. Miso Stubner has overtaken Mike Redford as well at the back of the field.
And well, good. I guess good news only for you. We've lost Tautvitus Sphinxus at some point. They disappeared off the board. I say only good news for you, Callum, because now you don't have to say their name at any points.
Who's?
But so it's Miso, exactly. It's Miso Stubna, the remaining Porsche. So I think mathematically it was already this way, but Miso Stubna is de facto champion in the Porsches. So good news for them. It's just a nice, gentle drive through the Italian countryside. I say the Italian countryside, though Monza isn't exactly in the countryside, but I don't know. Close enough. Stubna is ahead of Redford, and knowing them and how they've been driving this season, I squarely placed on Peter Varga. It isn't I'm going to dawdle in 9 because I'm going to go and catch and to overtake as many Ferraris as I can.
Yeah, I mean, he'll give it a go, will he? But we'll have to see how much he is held back by the pace of that car. Boardman is nearly 2.5 seconds off the back of Matt Malcolm now, so just struggling a little bit. And Matt Malcolm's actually dropped off the back of Nico Kumpu, so really shows how impressive the pace is from Will up front. That he's, you know, we think it was a mistake that got him such a big gap, but he's managed to hold it so far as well. So he's it's not fading at all as the race goes on, but we will have to see when tyres comes into play. But you know, even if he has to stop and take tyres, he's already, you know, made half the deficit up of the tyre stop already. So all sort of holding station as they are at the moment. Nothing too crazy. Oh, Matt Malcolm is off going through Ascari, so that's going to leave the chance up to Andy Boardman to make it down the inside before they even get to Parabolica. So Matt Malcolm got Ascari completely wrong, was off on the inside on the way through, and then Andy Boardman's made the most of it. What did he do there? He's just caught the gravel on the outside wrong, and it looks like it froze for me, but it slams straight into the wall. That's going to be some damage, I reckon, on that Lamborghini, and makes a lot more sense why Andy Boardman made his way up into 3rd place overall. So, I mean, good for Andy's championship hopes. We'll have to see. I don't think Matt Malcolm pitted. No, he stayed behind, so whatever that hit did, it hasn't knocked it too far out of shape. GT cars, I was going to say this earlier based on your previous point, GT cars are built extremely tough. You know, even these cars that aren't designed to do endurance races, they will share parts with, for example, the Huracan GT3 or the Ferrari, it's now a 296, but previously it would have been a 458 and a 488 GT3. Because it's cheaper for them to manufacture, and you know, if you're buying a Ferrari, it doesn't matter whether you're buying a challenge car or a GT3 car, you're still going to get rings for any suspension parts you dig up. So they make them tough because they're designed to last for these big races. You know, you're looking at your 6 hours, your 12 hours, your 24-hour races. You don't exactly want something bending just when you're going side by side with another car. Unlike things like single-seaters, where, you know, if you hit a curb in a wrong way in a single-seater, you'll be doing the old ka-chow from Lightning McQueen, and I have seen that happen a couple of times. Pretty disappointing.
Yeah, you can almost, I feel like the best way to describe a Formula car crashing at any amount of speed, it's more explosive. Bits just kind of boing, like tires getting...
They're designed to shatter.
Correct.
So they're designed to break at certain points that absorbs the
as every car is.
Impact. Yeah,
road cars.
But
crumple zones exist, everybody.
These have bodywork that does that, whereas on a single seater, the things that stick furthest out generally are the wheels. So they tend to take the first hit, and that's why you have wheel tethers on. I've seen it happen quite a few times where, you know, a car's come back in and it's only got 3 wheels left, and one of them's hanging off by a tether. And the thing is with single seaters is it's not that hard to fix as long as you don't crack the tub. If you crack the tub, then buy your mechanics some beer, because it's not a fun job. Ask me how I know.
I won't.
It was a painful 2 days.
No, I'm not going to. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. Just to be clear, I'm not being mean. Calum and I are friends, but I'm being performatively mean. No, it was mainly just because I wanted to make a point about Matt Malcolm and the fact that he honestly has been lapping very similarly and has at points had greater pace than Andy Boardman. So I'd sort of say he's within a shout of re-overtaking him. However, the damage he sustained, which certainly isn't minor, it is definitely that level of performance impact for them. He's going to have to work extremely hard, as Will Stevenson is extremely wide. It seems that everybody's kind of tempting fate at the exit of Ascari, and we'll see here. He's coming in. We're good. We're chilling, and he says, "I would like every bit of exit that you have." And I'm going this way now. But
Oh, that's so close.
well held. It is really well held. That could have gone super south. But at a certain degree, you think, hey, maybe I won't do that next time. How much you want to bet every single lap for the next 38 minutes he's going to do the exact same thing?
Well, it lost him 7/10 of a second, so if he does that every lap, he's going to have Nico Kumpu hounding him in a couple of them if he makes the mistake. But like I said, there's one line through that corner where you can hit the curb just right and it almost catapults you forward, and then there's two very fine lines either side of it that will catapult you either way sideways. And I think that's just what we saw there, but it was very well held because we've seen it before here where that results in a car just going straight into a barrier and there's nothing you can do about it. So has brought Nico Kumpu a little bit closer into play. He's made up another 10th as Will just gets himself mentally back in the zone and psyched up to drive fast around a very, very fast race circuit, which is Monza. I think it's up until recently. I don't know if it still does, but it had one of the highest average top speeds in any F1 race.
It is the Templeton speed after all.
It is.
So not terribly surprising. We're going to take a little trip on board through Ascari and see what exactly it looks like to tempt fate.
So you want to hook the inside of the right effectively with your inside wheels, but just on that green bit of AstroTurf. Not too much so you hit the bumps, but enough that it sort of pulls you around, and then you can almost aim to fire it either just left or just right of that little sausage curve. But if you hit the sausage curve directly with the wheel, that's when you start having problems.
Yep. He definitely took a lot less of that curve than he has done previously. Not just in the previous laps incident, but just generally. He's taken it a lot more gently. It seems that Matt Malcolm has taken my statement as a personal challenge, which is, I think I can get past even regardless of the damage. He's very quick. He does have the benefit of the slipstream. I mean, starting within 9/10 of a second, you are going to get extra speed on the straight. You can see him reeling in. He's getting in the mirrors. He's certainly not quite close enough to go for anything, but I think the slipstream being a really true benefit. And I don't know, as a incredibly slow sim driver myself, I would be utterly elated to be fighting the likes of Andy Boardman. Not that I'm calling Matt Malcolm slow, because he absolutely isn't. I think he's utterly elated to have this fight to himself as well. Plenty of circuit away from him. This is really all they have to do this afternoon, and I think it's going to be ever closer for the next couple of laps, Callum. And then I don't know, I'm expecting a ferocious dive from Matt Malcolm.
Yeah, Boardman ran wide through the first Lasme there, which has brought him a little bit closer. Matt Malcolm hugged the inside a little bit more, got a better run through the corner. We'll have to see how they take Ascari together. It's quite difficult to take it if someone in front of you that's directly in front of you goes offline as they brake. Not using much entry curb on the right hand side there of the shot, but really taking the exit. You can see that little green curb on the inside that I mentioned to look into, sort of upsetting Matt Malcolm's car a little bit as they run through, but nothing really gained, nothing lost for either of them. So Malcolm's still well and truly in slipstream range, so we'll have to see if it gets any closer through Parabolica. It's such a difficult corner because you just feel like it's going to go on forever and ever and ever, and you're always washing out further and further wide, but you just hope you don't do what I think it was a Formula Regional race, I think. I'm not quite sure whether it was Formula Regional or Italian F4 or something like that. But a single-seater hit the sausage curbs on the outside and it sent it flying up into the air. It was a very viral clip a couple of years ago. But Matt Malcolm's closed up under braking. We'll have to see it's always closing up, but it's never quite enough to make a move, Jack. But he's a little bit more firmly tucked into the slipstream now as they come up towards the second chicane.
Yeah, I do think so. That previous lap, Mike Redford entered pit lane, and now, interestingly, Ted Edwards has gone in. I feel like when you're coming from the lead of the race, you kind of want to stay out as long as you can. So he's come in, though I'm wondering if something happened, because he only just now looks like he got to his pit box. I think there was some kind of accident with Ted Edwards, because he may have limped back. We don't have anything to show, so I could be just making something up, but
Well, Redford's ahead of him, because Redford's out.
That's...
Oh, he's behind a lap, though, so...
Yeah,
he's coming through a Ascari now. Just made
we'll see how long that stop is going to be for Ted Edwards. That's going to give us the answer on whether it was a damage, a pit stop that required him to repair damage. A little bit of a hook in the gravel for Matt Malka, but he is close here. What he really needs to do is have a very clean final sector. Get really close coming out of Parabolica and really get in that slipstream and go for it into turn one. Ted Edwards, normal pit stop time. The Redford stop, 1 minute and 8 seconds. Ted Edwards, 1 minute and 9 seconds. So I don't think it was a damaged stop. I'm wondering, Callum, did Ted underfuel? I think maybe Ted did a bit of cheeky underfueling in order to go a bit quicker, because Andy Boardman's come in. Maybe he thought the same thing. So I'm wondering if Ted Edwards ran out of fuel. Usually, if you're leading the race, you want to go as long as you can. You want to sort of set the pace. But there is
he's now in clear air.
That's true.
Ted's now in clear air. He's got a massive gap. So I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to set himself up and not give the others the opportunity to undercut him, in a sense. Or maybe it was fuel related. Maybe he didn't think he was going to be in that position, so he was gunning for an undercut from the start of the race. And once you've loaded the fuel level into the car, you can't really do much about it other than pit when you planned. But at the minute, still Boardman and Peter Vargas in the pit, so that'll give us some form of indication on where Ted Edwards is. He's currently coming through Ascari. He's ahead of the leader. So surprisingly, actually, I didn't go a lap down, which is more surprising to me. That he's managed to keep it ahead of Will and Nico, who are still holding about the same gap for the moment. Watch out for those Lamborghinis coming up, but I don't know, maybe one of them might think about pulling the trigger now. Now we've had sort of 4 cars already boxed, and also Andy Boardman's come in, so we'll have to see how that works out. I think it was pitting early last week that did it.
Will Stevenson.
Wow, yeah, Will Stevenson in the pit from the lead, so maybe didn't.
Oh, a drive-through penalty for Varga just popped up as well.
Oh, yeah,
I think speeding into pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane is typically a stop and go, though. Is it not?
Possible. I don't know. I'm used to different rules and different rules in different sims, but it's minor speeding in the pit lane that creates a drive-through infraction. Yeah, if it's I think it's tends to be if it's like 3 kilometers an hour over and under, maybe you'll get a DT. Anything over that, it's a stop and go. I mean, if you roar into pit lane at like 200 kilometers an hour, you're just going to get disqualified.
It's a very easy pit lane to speed into, though, just with the way that the entrance of it is. If you lock a brake going into there, you're going to be sailing through and getting yourself a stop and go. So maybe Varga just snatched a front or something on the way through. But Nico, a little bit of a wiggle through Lesmo 1, but he's got it all back in shape. Peter Varga is out behind him, but does have that drive through to serve, so that will throw things up for him in terms of championship standings, which Emo Platt will be not glad to see, but I think maybe a bit more relieved, especially as Kevin Boss is now in pit lane. So we'll have to sort of see where everybody filters out. Obviously, Ted Edwards did come out 6 and a bit seconds in front of Peter Varga, but Peter will disappear as he serves that drive-through penalty. I imagine he'll try and do that this lap. But Nico, we'll have to see. Now, Nico can either go long if he's got the fuel level to do it and go for another 15 minutes, or you pit now and just react to what Les did. Will, sorry. I'm really sorry, Will.
I gave you a second.
I'm really sorry, Will. But yeah.
I gave you a second. But yeah, so Varga, Edwards is coming through now. Oh, but Kevin's ahead of him on circuit. He's already out of pit exit. I was going to say, because the gap between Edwards and Varga was only about 6 seconds, and it was a lot greater than that when Ted came in. So I'm wondering now if something happened on his in-lap, or what became an in-lap that dropped him back, and he had to take that pit early.
What was Kevin Boss's pit time? I'm just wondering if
only,
Ted took tyres and Kevin didn't.
It was 2 seconds a lap quicker, or sorry, not 2 seconds a lap quicker, 2 seconds quicker in pit lane.
So it's not a tyres thing. So yeah, you have to assume that both took tyres, and that as Varga comes out having served that drive-through penalty, that's going to drop him down to P10. So Mike Redford gains a place. Not in the way he'd want to do it. He'd probably want to do it on track, but we'll have to see if Peter Varga's got enough pace to catch back up to the back of Mike Redford. But, well, Kevin Boss is out on cold tyres, so Ted has caught up quite a bit. So it's not all over yet. These guys are shaping up for a nice 28-minute shootout to the flag.
It does seem like it. Ted's had the pace.
That's not quite the breaking point for Ascari, and I'm very sure that he'll let him back through.
Absolutely.
As we see, yeah, he's going to lift off now and not quite get to full throttle to let. Is he?
He's gonna let him through. He's doing it tactically. He's doing it tactically. He's not letting him through. Although he's now sailed into Parabolica. That's interesting way of doing it if that was planned.
Yeah.
So the reason I laughed is twofold. One, there's a very famous saying around RCI of the Ted send.
We haven't seen it for a while.
Which usually means we haven't. And I was really glad to see it, but I was also laughing because I know that Kevin and Ted are in the same voice call right now, are absolutely talking to each other, and I can imagine the words that came out of Ted's mouth when he realized he outbroke himself.
I'm imagining most of them aren't broadcast worthy, so
no,
we won't repeat.
No, I don't think so. But no, it was just a really interesting one. Them sort of just door banging each other coming down the straight. I think there were some words being exchanged for sure.
I was quite impressed at the sort of the ballsiness of a lunge down into Ascari. Oh, I've been hit the curve there. Because it's not, I mean, you can make a move down there if you have got an overlap and someone breaks early. But I think Ted just misjudged it more than tried to make a move then. And it was either I send it and I cut the corner, or I smash straight through the back of Kevin Boss and have a very angry Dutchman who runs this championship. Ash Bibby said something that I can't repeat on camera, so let's move on quickly from that. We'll have to see. Is it time for Ted Send round 2? Will he actually hit his breaking point this time?
He's breaking late. He's breaking late. He's done it 2 laps in a row. He is really tempting fate. He's going to lose out. I saw a bit of panic braking from Kevin Boss there coming at the exit. He realized where Ted was coming back onto the circuit and went, oh my Lanta. You know, Ted seems to really be hitting the brakes like he's suddenly in a GT3 car, because
I'm impressed Ted kept it in a straight line through the gravel as well. Like,
I am
he just sort of skimmed over the top of it rather than digging. Because if a wheel digs in, you just get turned round, but he's just sort of skimmed over the top of it. But
Emma Platt, he's pitted and has come out. Well, is gonna say maybe ahead of Kevin
really
Boss.
Close.
It is gonna be really close. I think
Emma's on cold tires.
He is. Well, if they change tires, I'm not even sure.
Kevin's
sort of taken to the escape.
That's going to bring Ted into play.
Ted's going to come here on the exit. He says, "Thank you very much, sir." The brilliant thing is, they're squabbling the past 3 laps. Gave Emma Plate the lead of this race. Because if they weren't doing whatever the heck you want to call what they were doing, Emma would have come out behind them. So Kevin right now, what was the lead of the race? Wow. What was a lead for the race then became, okay, Ted's doing some shenanigans. No other word for that. And now I'm in 3rd.
I'm excited to see what Ascari has this time, because I don't think Mo Platt knows what's coming.
That's true. I'm excited just to see what
the missile lock range. Let's put it that way. But,
I'm excited to see what's just about to occur from the 3 of them.
Are we going to see a Kevin Send?
Kev Send could possibly. No.
Ted's managed to magically sort out his braking now that he's not behind Kevin Boss.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
Oh
he's
man! Oh,
he's big commitment
he's
through
really.
there though. He did gain on the way through
I
though,
was
so
gonna
he's
say.
he's within range of it. It's one of them ones where if you hit it just right, you don't lose time necessarily by doing it. You do get to cut the corner a bit more, so you gain on that top speed and a bit on the exit, but really late into Parabolica. Taking the curve on the inside isn't necessarily the fastest line through there. As
Oh,
Ted gets sideways and crossed up through the corner.
yep.
I
Here
think he's
comes Kevin.
driving in his
He's
mirrors there.
Yep. Yeah, you could see in the electronic mirror in the center of the car when we were on board. You could see how close Kevin got mid corner. Um, but no, Ted's
Ted
gonna
gives it
drop
up.
behind. No reverse Ted send. And I wonder.
Oh,
Oh, Emma
Emo's
Plate.
slow.
Yep, very slow.
Emo's
Sort of.
slow through one.
Yep.
He had
Managed to
braked
really get it
himself and
all.
just about got it turned round, but he's on colder tyres than these two. Remember, these two have
Yeah.
been battling for a few laps already, and Emo's only just come out the pits a lap ago. So Kevin's going to have a look now. Is he going to shape to go down the inside, or will Emo cut it off? He shapes, so Emo has to stay on the outside. Kevin ducks back in because he knows that one's not going to work out, but manages to take maybe a slightly more optimal line through the second chicane. There's not really anything on down here into the Lesmos. I mean, you've got to be pretty much alongside on the exit to make a move into Lesmo 2, so it'll be yet another Ascari moment. I don't know if you know this, Jack, but Ferrari Challenge in Europe at least is quite well known for the drivers knocking 7 bells out of each other. Because,
Yeah.
how do I say this politely?
I've seen a clip or two.
They are the older, more affluent gentlemen who
The
doesn't really
dentists.
care about money.
The dentists, as it were.
Yes. It's a bit like Jeanette Juniors, but they're all 70 instead of 16.
I was gonna say I was gonna say we call them dentists in the LMP3 category in Le Mans, but because it's usually dentists driving those things. Because hey, if you have enough money, you could buy your way into an LMP3 car, believe it or not. But it is super entertaining. This does kind of feel like a very classic cup car race, which is just what often ends up being drivers with a bit less experience just doing a bit of silliness. However, the reverse here is drivers with a lot of experience, especially on this sim, still just going for a bit of silliness. But Kevin, though, taking his time. No big sends so far, but it's really come good for Mo Plate.
Ted's dropping back a little bit. Ted really wants Kevin to have a go here because it will bring him back into play. And I think, we saw that when he was out front, Ted could lead quite comfortably. So Ted's real best chances if these two start really trying to squabble with each other. But Kevin seems a bit happier now just to calm things down and just sit behind Emo. But he's still putting the pressure on. Don't get me wrong. He'll go for a move when he sees one. But it might not be as... I'm going to use the word ambitious as Ted's late braking into Ascari. It might be, but that's not really the Kevin Boss way.
No, not usually, but I will say, Ted sort of dropping back. He's sort of coming back to it just a little bit, but I guarantee he overheated those tires. He spent far too much time overdriving the car that, with the way that ACC and their tires are, if you are out of that sweet spot, either too low or too high on temperature and or pressure, it's going to be quite bad for quite a while. So I think really having to be a bit more gentle, drop a bit back.
Nico, by the way, Nico did pit. He's come out about 2 seconds behind Will, so there's no real change there. He does have the fastest lap of the race though, but there's no real change there. And then we've still got Bourman and Malcolm battling it out for the last place on the podium, and then it's this fight here. And then Miso Stubner's sort of having a race by himself, but really dragging that Porsche up a bit higher than it should be, thanks to, I think, Mike Redford probably... Oh, Kevin's going down the inside here. That's a bit of a late one, but he's going to make it work. Hops over the curb on the inside. A bit of a door bang, but all's fair in love and war. And Kevin makes the place there over Mo Platt, and this is going to bring Ted Edwards into play, maybe for a look down the inside into the chicane. And Kevin seems to think that's just racing, mate. Unfortunately, I was down your inside, and maybe didn't quite get enough room. Ted's shaping to look for a little bit of a lunge, but nothing comes to fruition. So it's now Kevin, Emo, and then Ted. We'll have to see if Kevin can streak away like a stabbed orange Dutchman.
I will say that.
Crap, but
Yeah, I don't. We're going for it. There's a lot of things being gone for today that maybe shouldn't be.
I'm struggling a little bit there through.
I hate to tell you, as a now student of the 488, that's just kind of how they always drive. They from onboard, they always look out of shape, but that's just how you have to drive them. They're just.
And I'm not going to argue with
drift
someone
machines.
who is no doubtedly probably at least a second a lot quicker than I can manage. Weeks of practice.
I will say I think that move from Kevin was a bit on the edge of maybe what's allowed. Obviously,
I wouldn't want to call it now without looking at looking at replays and sort of different angles of that, or get a replay of it. So he's down the inside. He is late. He does do the thing.
It's the coming over the curb
yeah.
into Mo, where it's just, for me, it's just like,
it's not. It's
honestly,
definitely not intentional. It's just a mistake.
Of course.
But maybe could have thought about giving that one back and then having another go. As we see, he just clips the inside curb there, and if he hadn't clipped the curb, he would have made the corner. It would have been a fight around the outside, and Emo's unlucky to bounce off in the way that he does. But
it's just
I mean, Emo's not too far behind, so
it's an overtake with contact. That's the sort of thing that triggers me just a bit. But no, it was an ambitious move. It was a late move, and it was very well sent by Mr. Boss. But I think whatever usable bit of tire was left on Ted's Ferrari, I think has all been pretty much ruined at this point. He could, of course, there is still 17.5 minutes remaining as our leader starts another lap, but he might have time to bring the tires back into the window, maybe get a bit comfortable, remember where the pace is, and come back at the pair that are leading the Ferraris. But I mean, Will Stevenson, whether this is his first race on ACC in a while or not, to jump headfirst into the finale of a championship and just storm to the lead is deeply, deeply impressive. Boardman is
up for any other races because
could be.
Yeah, this
could feel the same. Listen, I think he was feeling the same way about Joe Dauber after round one, because Kyle Ami, I gotta say, I was even scared for the rest of the field because, save for internet troubles, Dauber was exceptionally quick. Boardman no longer under threat from Matt Malcolm. I think it was I think he had a bit of a longer stop, maybe took tires, maybe repaired some damage, and hasn't really been able to find his way back up to the back of the greased weasel. But no, it's fair. I gotta say, rather, I guess, sort of unfortunately, I was expecting utter carnage. This might be.
I have just
outside
the BTCC before this.
Ooh. Oh, hold on. What has happened to Will Stevenson?
Will Stevenson.
Yeah, something
coming to Ascari.
Is it the same thing 100%. Again? Did he do the same thing?
Oh! Now you see what I mean by taking too much of the curb really sends the car in a direction you can't control. So Nico, we'll have to wait till it comes back to live pictures, but he was alongside.
Yep. And
we'll go all the way to the grass, and then Nico tries to.
Oh, they're still side by side.
They are still side by side. Will's got the inside, so he's got the preferred line, as it will. Don't touch that curb. They are door banging their way through turn one, through
Nico,
turn two. Nico goes, no, I'm still there. You've got to leave me some form of space, old boy, and manages to make it work. I'm guaranteeing there's going to be at least a sniff of a move towards the next chicane. You can already see Will is shaping up to sort of look at it, but decides against it, probably for the good of both of them. But yeah, that's what happens if you get that curve really wrong.
Yep, it's still tempting fate. I feel like it.
Well, the problem is he has to push. He does have to push, because if he doesn't go full push, Nico will just close up to the back of him. So even though Nico's at 2 seconds back at that point, he still has to take the risk through Ascari every time in order to keep the lap times high enough that Nico just slowly doesn't gain over the last 15 minutes. So he's sort of played the lottery of the curbs, and I'd have to say, I think Will's lost out more than Nico has this time, and Nico's a bit deep into Ascari, so I'll have to see how that affects the line on the way out. You can, wow,
Oh, he does it
Will,
again. He does it
Will does it
again.
again.
He's
I'm
really,
surprised
really
he's not got a
just.
track cut. Sometimes it doesn't give you a warning because it doesn't
True.
think you've gained an advantage by doing it. Even
Yep.
if you run out wide, as long as you don't, go green on your delta, it sometimes doesn't give you a warning for those. But he's had a couple now where you'd expect he might be close to the limit.
He's clearly he's over the limit in one way, but I think fortunately not over the limit in terms of the system and his track cuts because he's still good. Quick trip onto the grass. Let's dirty up the tires. I don't know. It's better for braking. I've heard. That's not true.
That was an iRacing strat a while ago, wasn't it? To cool them down. I remember that being a thing.
It was. I remember hearing about that and thinking that's just ridiculous. Okay. But no, that is not what Will was doing there. He more was pushing to the upper limits and going a bit over the edge. But what was almost not necessarily going to be a fight towards the finish for first position, as we said as well, rubbing my crystal ball earlier in the race before Will started tempting fate, I said Nico is a very, very, very patient driver. And if and when the opportunity arises, Nico's going to take it and has done. So 13 minutes, Will has the pace, but critically has to get through on Nico, who admittedly has been quicker in the second step.
Yeah, Nico just, like you said, shown that level of patience. I think maybe knew that Will was taking risks and just maybe struggling a little bit through Ascari. He's wide again. He's still trying to get the most out of it. But I mean, now he's got something to chase down, which we'll have to see. This is not over yet. Will definitely could come back from this gap, but it's going to have to be a very, very late on move, I think. Will would probably prefer to stick behind. Wow, he's really wide through Parabolica. That's not the line through there.
No, I think that might be a track cut. I think it's a similar thing to what Ted Edwards experienced, which was overdoing it, overheating the tires, and now unfortunately having to pay the price because it just seems like that car does not have the same level of speed as it did. As Ted Edwards at the back of shots, sliding out of Lesmo too, but in the foreground, it's the Emo Plate v Kevin Boss fight that's it's been looming, and
I'd like to see some return given from Emo now. Like, if that's the level that Kevin wants to play at, I think Emo's going to be well and truly up for ascent whenever one sort of comes into possibility here.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think there might be a bit of that, but no, at the moment it's after the overtake. Kevin sort of leapt away a bit, second and a half, but it's really come back. And I wonder who's taking better care of their tires. And whoever is, as sort of been the case throughout the season, is there's a big benefit. I mean, we're coming into the last sort of 11 minutes of this race. Only a handful of laps to go, and whoever's got the better tires underneath him, Emo's got the benefit of the slipstream as well here at the Temple of Speed. So, I mean, I don't know. Kevin is a very good defensive driver. We've told the tale many a time. Emo's probably the quicker, or generally the quicker in this car. So I feel like it kind of ends up being an even match, and I think it's going to be a fight to the very end.
Yeah, it's a circuit where if you place your car correctly, as much as there is a lot of straight line, it can be extremely difficult to overtake, even with the excellent opportunities you get at, say, Ascari or Turn 1 or the second chicane. So Kevin will know what he's doing, and I think he's probably driving around right now preparing himself for what he's going to do when Emo comes up to the back of him and gets that little bit closer that he needs. But Emo's still sort of hanging back in that sort of half the 0.6 of a second range from the back of Kevin, and just benefiting maybe a little bit from the slipstream, saving his tyres a little bit more. Trying to see where he's quick compared to Kevin, and maybe sort of with 5 minutes to go might start looking for moves a little bit more aggressively here, as he's closer coming out the back of Parabolica, so maybe it's the 10-minute mark or the 9-minute mark that Emo decides, and Kevin comes to the inside to try and not give the slipstream and take the preferred line if you're defending. Emo has none of that. He's staying firmly wedged in there, but I don't think he's close enough for a lunge at turn 1. I have to see if he's good on the brakes though. Might gain enough coming through. It's fairly even in the slow speed, but he's right up the back now of Kevin Boss. So I think, Jack, this might be where we see a little bit of afters maybe given, and a return of serves, shall we say?
Yeah, I think it might be. He's close enough, and he's really almost giving a little kiss on the bottom at this point through Curva Grande, but it's a sort of, he sticks out, but it's so difficult because, let's be honest, the brakes of the Ferrari 488 compared to the rest of this field, and honestly the rest of the cars in ACC, they're not great. So
they are made of cheese.
They're made of Italian cheese, maybe a bit of
Parmigiano.
Yeah, see, there we go. Now
it's a hard cheese.
Sharing a brain cell up in here.
But, there is one combined brain cell in this comms box, and we both just used it for that.
Oh, we share it with Ash as well. Don't forget. Though we use it a bit more than he does. But no, it's so hard to get better on the train. I just mean it because he doesn't have to talk as much as we do. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying what you were implying based on your noises, but
Ash doesn't have to talk as much as us, but he does talk as much as us, which you can't hear when we get shouted at. But I can guarantee for any of the last 5 odd rounds that anyone in the comms booth has started just laughing out of nowhere, and you're a bit like, why are they laughing? It's because Ash has said something very loud in their ear.
He's a silly guy. Silly guy. But no, it's a bit closer for Emo, but it seems like it's just, you have to be so close. I feel like you almost have to be alongside. We saw how late of a move Kevin had to make last time. No, he's going deep. He's going very deep. He smashed it through the bollards. He says, no, I want to keep it. I don't want to give it up, but he's really off the back foot. He made a mistake with his cheesy brakes, and here comes Emo through into Parabolica. Is there going to be a bit of a return coming out? Because Kevin's gonna maybe do it. If he is, it's gonna have to be around the outside. But
Emo's offline going in though. Emo's got offline going in, so he's gonna get a worse run theoretically going out. But he seems to just make pace out of there.
Yeah,
theoretically,
out of nowhere.
Is what you'd say is going tight on the way in wouldn't give you as good of a run through, and on the way out of the corner. But somehow he managed to wrangle enough speed out to stay ahead of Kevin. But yeah, Kevin, a little bit of a mistake there. That might have been what they were waiting for, as Emo Platt probably thinking that's probably now about fair, I'd say. But it's not over yet.
Fair.
It's not over yet.
No late sends into Ascari this time, but we sort of see is a bit of a different
narrow
line. I was gonna say he was a bit narrow, but coming across the bump, they're about even. So it's gonna be close like last lap, but
Ted's like, hold on, guys, wait for me.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Ted
just used up them tyres.
He just ripped them to shreds.
The thing is,
a bit of
Emo's
a slide.
Wide. Will looks like his tyres are gone. It's a good spot from Ash, but he's dropped back now since that mistake and the overtake from Nico. So I don't want to say sticking a fork in it. The battle's done up at the front, but because it is Monza. And we've seen people go off by themselves.
We've seen Will go off by himself in this very corner several times.
Like in that curve. Setup engineers hate it. The toe will be out on that car, I guarantee it.
Suspension manufacturers hate him. He snaps the springs in one simple trick.
Kevin is still there.
Kevin's still there. I mean, that's what I'm like. They're about even, I feel like. But Kevin, though, he's going to go for it late on the brakes again. It's so difficult when someone's defending.
He's trying to force him offline to get a better run through here, so we can have a look.
He's getting a good run into Lesmo 1.
But it's just not quite. It's just not a long enough straight. Another 50 meters, and maybe Kevin could have had a thought about down the inside. But
I think 50 meters and less cheesy brakes.
Well, they've both got cheesy brakes, so it's
well,
sort of an evening factor, really. But another 50 meters, and he had a nose in there. But
it's harder to brake late on cheesier brakes. mistakes. Yeah, no, I think
It
Kevin,
is.
he's applying the pressure really, really well, which is what I think sort of did him in. Is he just
Yeah.
the pressure built up just enough? Whoops, I missed my braking point by 15 meters, and that can be all the difference. Sort of alternating lines between the two again through Ascari, but
Yeah, Emma with the
I'm
better line
wondering.
there, so he's got a bit more
Yeah,
of a run. I think that's sort of brought Kevin back a little bit by a few tenths. So we'll have
I
to see
think
how
if
it
there were to
plays out.
be, I gotta say, I think if there were to be like a bit of a subtext to the title of this race, Cup Car Cup Finale, the Tale of Tires, because that's kind of done in the two leaders in both the Lamborghini and the
And
Ferrari field.
it's not something you see in ACC. Like you said, with the cars that we normally run, they're either sort of small enough and light enough, thinking about like the M2s, where tyres aren't as critical, or they're bigger GT cars or GT4 cars where the tyre is more durable because they are more tended towards endurance tyres. So whereas these cars have the power, some of them even more power than some of the GT3 and definitely the GT4 cars, but they run on softer rubber, so it's a lot easier for them to burn through. And it's an interesting thing that, like we said, doesn't really come into play much in some of the championships. But Kevin's still just trying to work now to get onto the back of the blue 71 Ferrari, but I don't think that's
Did he?
it.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but I'm also thinking his last couple of moves, he behind Emo, he sort of looks like he's having to work a lot harder than say Emo was behind Kevin. So I think it is just tires are gone.
Kevin made the mistake when Emo wasn't quite as close.
Yep.
Another factor here is brakes potentially starting to get a little bit too hot for Kevin being sat behind Emo, but struggling there until Scarry to get the thing stopped as is with the Ferrari's brakes. So might be a little bit of a factor of why Emo's just sort of streaking away a little bit now. They've got, let's see where the leaders are. They'll have 2 laps to go, I think, these guys will, as they cross the line. Because the leader's just coming up to Ascari now, and it cuts down as they come through. So I think these guys will still have another 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I think you are just about correct.
Nico out wide.
Nico Kumpu. Well, no, this might be the start of the final lap, actually, for the leaders, but then naturally,
well, then they'd have 2 laps.
Half 3/4 of a lap ahead. Of course, they will have that 2 lap as Varia, who honestly the DT, the drive-through was what did him in. It's the small margins that racing is all about. It was that it could have been half a kilometer over the limit. But a bit struggling for him, in the finale. There was a hope of a championship, but maybe not quite there. And naturally, as I'm being reminded by none other than co-commentator Calvin Kerwin, I forgot to thank our partners. And of course, in true Monday fashion, it comes down to the last lap. I got over 60 seconds this time, so we'll be absolutely fine. And I'll start off by talking about Ready, Set, Sim, our partner, where if you're looking for a new sim rig, you should check them out. Their RSS Sim rig builder is a wonderful tool to build your dream setup, or more realistically, the one you can afford. And if you're thinking about a new direct drive wheel, a new full wheelbase and wheel itself, check out our partners at Monza Racing. They're wonderful. I talk about them all the time. I use their stuff, not because they give me money, but because I think their stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Super well priced, super well made, stellar stuff. Coach Dave Delta, if you need to get quicker on circuit, they are the people to check out. Setups, apps, helpful coaching, they got it all for you with on their website, which everybody is down in the description below. Greenman Gaming, best place to go for deals on new games and sim titles. Pimax is our resident partner for virtual reality stuff. Nico Kumpu is going to come across the line as not only the winner in the finale, in the final round, he is also the winner of this championship. Will Stevenson, stellar drive from him. Showing up sort of out of nowhere and just doing absolutely phenomenal. And I think a few mistakes less, a few less shreds of the tire, and he would have won this race. One final thank you to Motorsport UK for having us as a recommended community on their end. Technically made it before the end of the race. If anybody was counting, Andy Boardman comes across the line just ahead of Matt Malcolm, who, well, he ended the race as a Beyblade. And Emmo Platt.
Emmo's just pulled away there from Kevin on that last lap.
Yep.
I
Tires
think
are
you're right
dead.
there. Tires are done. Oh no.
Yep.
The tires are gone.
I think that Kevin might have some words with a certain Tedwards Edwards. Oh wait, I think Ted's gonna be overtaken by Miso Stubna at the very end. No,
Ooh.
no, not salt in the wound. It's gonna be on the brakes into the final, but he's got the greater amount of horsepower in the 488 with the better brakes. Corner. Yeah, see, it's gonna be close between the pairs, so a little bit of drama to end the season, but
it's really wide.
He just doesn't have the tires, but he does have the horsepower to cross the line just barely ahead of Miso Stubna. For 7th and 8th position, where Mike Redford will be the last to cross the line. It's just struggled a bit throughout the season, but absolute props to him for showing up race after race. Always giving us some good action. As well, that's the Cup Car Cup. Callum and I'm sad. I miss it already.
It was a very good championship, and it's one that sort of surprised me as we now get the evidential chaos that ensues behind you. But no, Nico Kumpu takes it and takes the championship with, in the end, a comfortable margin back to Will Stevenson in second place as a guest of the series for one race. Andy Boardman in third, Matt Malcolm in fourth, Emmo Platt in fifth with the first of the Ferraris. Kevin Voss struggled near the last sort of 5 minutes or so. Had a good old set of battles with a couple of different people and ends up sixth. Ted Edwards just beats out Miso Stubner to seventh, Miso Stubner in eighth, Mike Redford in ninth, Peter Varga in 10th, and Svinkus in 11th overall. But that is it. That is your Cup Car Cup. So congratulations to Nico Kumpu and the various different class winners as well. We did count that, and you will see those results posted as soon as they are official on the Instagram. Kerrigan will sort that out.
He will indeed. Everyone will get going. And before we move on to what will be a couple of interviews with our various drivers, we are going to shout out the upcoming season here on RCI, the grand finale of our old Italian friend is going to be the Mini British GT, which is a absolute favorite, a longtime favorite, and a long running event here on RCI. GT3s, GT4s, the schedule is in front of you. The signups are live. And it is an 8-round championship with the 2 special flyaway rounds being that of Spa-Francorchamps and Barcelona. That will start in 3 weeks' time. Get signed up, get ready to go. Some old faces sure to show up from the annals of RCI history, and
I'm seeing some new faces as well entered.
Definitely.
And already some new faces.
You do not need to be
so old that I don't recognize.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna probably be told off for referring to old favorites as new drivers once we come around for that, as I'm young compared to the greats that we have around. But super excited.
I'm glad you're calling yourself young, because that's the same age as me. So.
Well, I'm saying young as far as RCI. I am.
Well, true.
It's been less than a year for me, and I'll probably get told off for all that. But super excited for the Mini British GT coming up in a few weeks' time. Signups, as I said, and I will continue to say, are open. They imagine will fill up to a good bit, but certainly a big, nice, healthy grid is something we're looking forward to for that.
We might have a treat for brands where it's a Jesse Lee, Jack Mays, and myself, 3
That's
wide.
true.
in the box.
You ruined the surprise. I was gonna say, speaking of the RCI
Sorry.
greats, we should have an appearance from none other than Mr. Jesse Lee in the comms
It would
box,
be
and
right,
me, which
wouldn't it?
isn't special
would be
or
right.
interesting.
We'll
just
waffle
here.
and Jesse can commentate on what's going on screen, although I don't feel like that's how that's going to go. I think it will be carnage.
Oh,
Obviously,
it'll
Ash
be
will be
spectacular.
running the cams as well.
We'd be nowhere without Ash.
Nowhere without Ash. No, but a big shout out to everyone that does involve in the runnings of events at RCI. Obviously, Kevin is our usual custodian of the Monday series, and he's done a fantastic job all through the different ACC series that we've done, and we've had a lot of enjoyment out of it. And Mondays won't be going away; they will just be switching, we think, over to potentially LMU. We're thinking at the moment, but we're not quite sure on what and when yet. But we've still got a whole other championship to enjoy. So get your sign-ups in. Mini British GT, 25 GT3s, 25 GT4s. It's open to every GT3 car, I believe, and every GT4. So you can pick whatever machinery takes your choice. But you will get 10 bonus points if you go for the Jag, because Jag.
I don't actually know if the Jag is even allowed on the signups.
The Jag, it has been confirmed the Jag is allowed.
Has it? Oh my
I
goodness.
believe so. Let me double check that before I say that you're allowed to use it.
Okay, so that means you need to drive the Jag.
Everything.
That means you need to drive the Jag, because then you have an excuse for being super slow.
I wanted to go GT4 because I could battle
Carrigan. That's too bad.
Right,
that's fair.
Let me see.
Anyways,
you do Nico's interview, and
I'll I was gonna say enough business from us, and let's hear from well, our champion, shall we say, for the Cup Car Cup, and one of my new favorite of the Mondays that I've done. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, none other than Mr. Nico Kumpu. Congratulations on the championship. Congrats on the another win snatched from near defeats. But how was it out there?
Hey. It was fun to be out there. Start was difficult, but then on the second stint I got like things together, and I had some good pace there. Seems like with these cars and this track, I always seem to be in a position to make some kind of small comeback. So it was again like that.
Yeah, I mean, gotta say, that's really only it's not often. Let's say last week as well, and then race 1 at Kyalami were really the only times that I've seen you not on the back foot, but not in your usual. But overall, favorite round of the championship, which was your favorite race?
I think it's got to be this last one. Misano would be great also, but I made the mistake there. That many people missed what happened, but yeah, I spun in the penultimate corner there, so it wasn't so good race for me, but yeah.
Well,
I like Monza, these cars.
Good way to end it off. Yeah, no, it seems like these things really come alive. It's almost like the Temple of Speed lives up to its name time after time. But yeah, no, a stellar run, a stellar season. Are you planning on joining us for Mini British GT? I feel like we'll be nowhere without you.
Yeah, Carlos was saying to me that let it go, let it go, ACC. But I said one more. Yeah.
Get Carlos back in as well. It's been a while since I've seen that name in a server.
Yeah, let's see.
Bully him back into it. Tell him to have one final ding dong at it.
Yeah, he's playing the superior simulator, as he says.
I won't comment on that, but no, thanks for joining us for another Monday, and it sounds like we'll be seeing you again in a couple weeks time, and congrats one final time. And any shout outs from you before you go?
Well, of course, big thanks to RCI for organizing for broadcast, even with these low numbers of drivers joining. So it was great. I want to thank everybody who was driving during the championship, and when I saw that Will Stevenson joined on the server today, I knew that it was going to be a race between us. I think it was last time also, or some season it was fight with Will.
I'm glad he showed up. I'm glad he showed up, and he will be the next person that we talk to. Will, welcome back to the box, first of all, and I'm sure Callum has some very mature and normal questions for you.
Can I make a quick announcement just before we jump to Will? Sorry, Will.
Oh Lord.
You can race the Jag. When I say it's
That's a
every
good
GT3
announcement.
car, it is every GT3 car. So if you want to pick a Jaguar and earn the respect of everybody in the comms booth, you pick the Jaguar. I'll see if I can get you a 10 extra championship.
And also, you're allowed to join during interviews simply just to say, "I drive a Jag,"
and then leave immediately. Yeah, that is allowed. But yeah, no, you are allowed to pick the Jag. It's every GT3 car, 8 rounds. You can have up to 3 sign-outs. That is the other thing to mention through the season, just because it is an extended season. So if you're looking at it and thinking, oh, well, I can only do 5 of them, don't worry, the option is there. But we would like to see as many drivers doing as many rounds as possible. But no, back to Will. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
I'm going to apologise in advance for the amount of times that I mistook you for Les.
Oh no.
There were quite a few when you go and watch it back where we, mainly me, to be honest. Yeah, but no, fantastic race. I think you had a bit of a battle with the Scary, let's put it that way, throughout the entirety of the race, of whether that curb on the exit was going to be nice to you or not. And I think it being not very nice cost you.
Yeah, I had a little bit of trouble with it in the end. Just, I don't know, lost my tyres in the second stint really and couldn't really gain it back. I was struggling with a little bit of a wheel issue as well at the same time, but I think I probably would have lost it anyway. Nico was a bit quicker in the last stint and just kind of cooked my tyres.
Well, it's good to see you back. I wasn't expecting it today, and then we joined and we went live, and I just saw a Stevenson name there, and it was a bit surprising. But no, nice to see you show up for a round and really give Nico a race at it, which I think he probably could have done without for the stress levels. But no, but it was a very well driven race in terms of jumping into a car with, I'm guessing, not much practice.
Yeah, I did about 10 minutes before the race, and then kind of just, yeah, I've driven this car around Monza a couple of times. I think we've done, at least when we did the Super Trophies last time we were around here, and it went quite well. I seem to have the same issue as I did last time, where the second stint just didn't really go as well. But yeah, it's nice to be back. Had a Monday free for once, and thought I'd give it a go.
Well, you start making that sound like a Monday free is quite rare, so I'm going to now pose the question of Mini British GT to you. Are you thinking about it? Does it tempt you?
It does. I would quite like to drive the Ginetta again. That's always been my favourite car on ACC. Maybe tempted towards the Jag just for a bit of fun, but it depends on how many rounds I can make, really, because just work schedule doesn't always line up.
I feel you on that one. I do feel you on that one. It's tough, but I'm sure if you message Kevin and ask him very nicely, like, depending on the sign-up levels, be able to make some exceptions. You never know. If you're bringing a Jag to the table, I think anything goes, really.
Like, yeah,
we're just willfully changing the rules.
We just want one Jag, Kevin. Like, please.
If I'm driving a GT3, it will either be the Jag or it will be the 2015 Bentley.
Oh yeah.
See, this is what you get. This is the last big RCI ACC championship that we've got planned for a long while, and you get people coming out in Jags and Bentleys, just for the fun of it. But no, it looked like you had quite a bit of fun. Obviously, it didn't quite go your way at the end, but I'm assuming you enjoyed tonight, as you chose to spend your one Monday free doing this with us.
Yeah, it was good fun. I need to buy a new wheel clamp, but that's shouldn't be too bad.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a fun wheel issue to have, but
no.
At least you found out now and not while you're driving a Jag around Donington.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So
I think it was
there's
probably me
positives.
hitting the curb and trying to take off, which probably did it. But
yeah, you probably would have broke the wheel in the real car as well if
yeah,
you'd hit that hard repeatedly for an
yeah,
hour.
we've
So
sheared it straight off.
yeah, but no, congratulations. I mean, it means nothing championship position wise because obviously this is the first round you've done, but it was lovely to have you for a round. And I will be checking the British GT sign-ups list to see if your name and indeed a Jaguar gets added with frivolous interest. But no, congratulations on a very very hard fought second place, and yeah, look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Anyone you want to shout just quickly, because I know you don't get much of a chance now at the moment. So
Obviously, you guys doing the broadcast, even with relatively limited drivers, it's always you guys put on a great show. It's always good to see and watch back as well. The people that did show up for the race today, it's always good to see familiar faces. At least I think it's always the same kind of group of people, so it's good to see they're still doing it. But yeah,
lovely to have you back, and it's Monza. You have to stream Monza because who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, no. Hopefully we will see you in 3 weeks' time on the grid, but we shall wait and see. Keep your eyes on the sign-ups for that, and if you are interested again, signing up simgrid.com/RCI for the relevant links as well, and the Friday Championships open for sign-ups too. But that's it from Will, Jack. I'm going to throw it back to you for I think Peter Varga.
Mr. Varga.
I'm trying to remember who's next. There he is. A rather happy sounding Peter Varga.
I was gonna say, I was about to say, you
For someone with
surprisingly
a driving
chipper.
penalty, who is very chipper.
But yeah, definitely a tricky one out there. Not the best way to cap off the season. But did you at least have fun?
Considering that I had a meeting before the practice even started, had to eat my dinner halfway through the practice, and did the second half of the practice as my first practice for this race. I am really happy with how my speed was, and to be fair, the drive-through, I was just going for it. I was like, hey, okay, let's go. I might do something or just go out as an absolute failure, which has happened.
Hey,
But
you showed up and you went for it, so I commend you for that. But I mean, looking back on the rest of the season, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Nico, which is what was your favorite race?
my favorite race would probably be the Kia Lamy. Uh, I really love that circuit, and that was, well, I think actually the best drive I did the whole season. So yeah, I would say that.
All right, now make it even more difficult. Did you like race 1 more? Or did you like race 2 more?
Tough to say. Out of those two, I like the result of the race 1 bit more because I think I could have get up better in race 2. But then I fuck it, race 1.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Next and last time I'll ask anybody this. Mini British GT? Question mark.
I think I made up my mind, and I'm gonna bring out. Well, I'm not gonna bring out something like the Jag or the old Bentley, but I'm taking my old girl, the girl that started it all back in God knows what year it was, 2019 or even probably more like 2018. The original 488 GT3 with the original livery that I ran in my first endurance race with my own team. Just for the nostalgia and for going back the full circle. Yeah, she's coming.
Awesome. I love that. I feel like it'll be like a good sort of. It seems like everybody from everywhere is gonna sort of come back and people in the classic cars just for some. Sounds like it'll be a very fun season for a lot of people, and not necessarily everybody showing up to be like, I'm going to be the quickest human being ever. Though I know we're gonna have plenty of fierce competition. But I don't know. It's good. I'm happy to. I'll be happy to see the full circle moment for you. But before we send you off, any final words? Any shout outs from you?
To my emotional support animal is the chicken in the kitchen that I have to attend to.
Thank you, chicken. Thank you, chicken, from all of us here at RCI. For the but yeah, thank you for joining us, of course, for another
Yep.
Monday. We look forward to seeing you next Monday. That's
Yeah.
Monday in 3 weeks, by the way, for anybody that was confused by that.
See you and goodbye.
Callum, do you have words for Mr. Edwards?
I'm sure I can rustle up some questions for our own Ted. Just apologies for any language
Rustling.
you may have heard there. But no, Ted, I can see you're there because you've just unmuted, which is always great to see. But how was that one then, Ted? Run us. Was it one of them?
So
I'm not laughing
my
at your pain.
my second stint tires were brand new, as we've looked, but they died quicker and they had more wear. I have no idea why.
I have a couple of ideas why, but I won't say anything. Anyways,
Then-
please carry on.
then-
No,
may have-
I did all the same stuff as I was doing in stint one, but I don't know. But me on the brakes with Kevin was because I hadn't been in the slipstream yet. So that was
okay.
what me and Kevin
'Cause
found out was
my next thing was going to be that you said the Ted Send wasn't returning.
I
which was a
by
lie.
those two incidents was not on purpose at all. I was braking just before my normal braking point, but because I got so much more speed on the toe that you don't feel it, and I just Luckily Kevin saw the first one. The second one, when I went around the outside at Ascari, he didn't see that.
Now,
But
we know
luckily,
you're all in a voice chat together. I'm assuming some of the words said weren't broadcastable, but can you give us a sense of the feeling as you're hurtling towards the back of the championship organizer and your friend with brakes that aren't slowing you down?
I didn't care because the madman. Yes, I may have cut Ascari, and it didn't give me a warning. But then he decides to try and push me into the grass to the final corner. So, I don't care.
This sounds like a fight that needs to be settled with maybe an 8-round
And
championship.
to be fair,
around
he
some...
did. To be fair, he did give me a CDA today because I ran a different setup. I won't mention the name, and it had full wing on it, and I was almost 10 kilometers slower.
Interesting strat, the full wing at Monza. That's not really the way you expect to go.
And this was an esports setup, so don't ask me on that one. So yeah, luckily I had a good setup. I mean, the first bit of the race was fun, but our rear left just dies. Like you can't do nothing about it. You can't save the tire at all. It's just so hot. But I mean, it was alright, I guess.
Now, Jack said he wasn't going to say it anymore, but I'm not Jack.
Mustang.
Oh yes, Jack gets a bit of
Maybe.
American muscle.
If I have time, then I'll jump in the Mustang.
Well, this Kevin versus you fight needs to be settled with, I'd say, perfectly an 8-round championship.
Yeah, but the problem is, so this is a Ferrari, whereas when I'm in a GT3, then there might be a send.
Well, Kevin's also in a GT4 car. I'm gonna go ahead and crush your dreams early.
Then I'll just send him. Get out the way, slow man.
Oh, I'm sure Kevin will have something to say about all this afterwards, but
I just wish I had Misano again.
Yeah,
That was so fun.
I would say a favourite round, but then I'm assuming it was the Misano round.
The thing is, because it was wet, it was different, and I had the fight with Redford, and it was very difficult. Like here today with Monza with Kevin and Mo, and it's just, I don't know, just wet racing in that car is it's tricky. But Mazzano was a good track. I mean, Monza probably would have been absolute horrid because of how fast you're going, and you got to brake like another 100 meters before. But yeah, I'd take Mazzano because I wasn't here for Kota, and that's why I didn't get as many points as I could have. But I'm so glad I didn't do Kota.
Yeah, I mean, all I will say is it's a British championship around British circuits. I'm sure we will have some very British weather coming our way in the next 12 weeks. We've got a 3-week break where you can all have a Monday off, but yeah, I mean, we've already got maybe a promise of a Jaguar We've got some American muscle going around. We've got Ginettas. We've got Maseratis. There's Alpines signed up in the GT4s, McLarens, everything. Mercedes, all a
If
massive
it
mix of
rains,
cars.
if it rains, V8 Aston is overpowered as Redford knows. Because we did Silverstone in the rain for something, and it was me and Kevin in the Mustang with Daly, and that Aston was even quicker than Daly, like through the corners and stuff. It's really planted. But the Mustang was fine, like it wasn't slipping out and stuff. But the Aston has just got the grip.
Well, we'll have to see how that one pans out. But no, congrats. It's another Monday ticked off, and maybe not the best race for you, but certainly probably one of the more entertaining TED races I've seen in a while. So no, big congratulations, and thanks for giving us something to broadcast for 50% of the race.
What the drift championship for Ascari? Is that what you were watching?
Pretty much, yeah.
Bloody
And then we
cow.
cut away to when Will Stevenson clattered the curb on the
Oh,
exit.
I need to
and
watch that.
Nearly sent him off. But yeah, it was a pretty routine thing. But no, a good fight, and we will see you, I'm sure, on the 8 weeks that we've got coming up of GT3 and GT4
I
racing.
forgot how
So,
long it is. Oh,
yeah.
Kevin, you're in it. You are the god.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna come
Anyways.
in now.
Yeah. Anyways, Mr.
We're gonna cut to
Boss.
the defense. The prosecution rests, and I think now the defense has its turn.
Mr. Boss, congrats on your completion of the Cup Car Cup. Congrats on another successful Monday championship, of course.
Congrats on surviving 2 TED sends.
Yep. First and foremost, how was it out there?
Slippy. That's, I think, the one word all Ferrari drivers could use for this race. Especially going through Ascari, that was, that was something special. Sometimes you were just praying the car would go straight again.
Could that not be the word for the season though? I feel like
I think it
Or
was
all the
worse
Ferrari
here today
drivers?
than any other track. Like the car struggled every now and then at some of the other tracks, but today, through some of the corners, it was just a drift fest.
fair enough. All right, favorite round. The easy slam dunk question.
Probably Valencia.
Yeah. All right.
Was
That's
a
one we
bit.
haven't heard yet.
It was for me it was a good result. I always like Valencia, but I also fought a little bit with Dorber in the Lambo, a bit with Misa Stubner in the Porsche, and then I also still had to hold off a certain Mr. Varga. So that was tough, but was a good race.
Yeah, it was one that I got to comms, and I think Jack was away for, but I remember it being a very, very fun watch. But no, obviously we've got a big championship coming up. I know you've had a lot of say in the prep for it and everything. So are you excited? Obviously, I think the sign-ups even during the race have increased in number. We're I believe 6 GT3s and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 GT4s already. So it's filling up quick. Bearing in mind we only opened it up today, but what race of that are you looking forward to the most? I know you've elected for GT4. So what are you thinking?
I always enjoy Snetterton. It's not a overly loved track by a lot of people, but I always enjoy it. I think for me, I'll like that one if work permits me to be able to race that one. But I'm just gonna have to wait and see that.
It rains a lot in Norfolk. That's all I'm going to say on that front. Mind you, it rains a lot in most of the circuits that are on the calendar, including Spa and Ricard as well, which are our 2 flyaway races, as you would call them in the UK for this. But yeah, Ted, I think, disagrees with you on that. But we'll save that for you to battle out with him on track. But no, big thanks to you for all the Monday work that you put in. I know it's a lot behind the scenes, and hopefully we can all go and enjoy this big championship that we've got lined up now.
Yeah, I thought that's just the final one. It's a good one to make it just a little longer. That people can enjoy it a bit more, have a bit more opportunity to join if there's still spots left. Because I think everyone should have a chance to enjoy it with us one final time. But yeah, there's one thing I do want to come back to with Ted saying I wanted to push him off the track. My thoughts was I was just wanting to give him a little nudge, but it was only half a lap later when I remembered this was ACC and not LMU, so that could have ended badly. So I
Yeah,
profusely apologized for that maneuver.
you did nearly put him in the wall, but in your defence, he did nearly put you in a barrier. So, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, all's fair in love and war. And no, it was entertaining to watch. At least I know you'll probably watch it back and chuckle, but the camera was on it, pretty much glued. So no, big thanks for the entertainment today and for all the work you do with Mondays. And I promise it's the last time I'll say it, but if you want to sign up, Mini British GT 2026 RCI, our big farewell to ACC that we're planning. 3 weeks break, and then we've got an 8-week championship. Any GT3 or GT4 machinery is permitted, and we go to some of the biggest tracks in the UK and Ricard and Spa as well for some flyaway races. So if you're interested, links are in the Discord, or head over to SimGrid and search up RCI for the info that you need on that, because there are a few things to keep an eye on, but all the information is there. Get your sign-ups in as early as possible, because I imagine it will fill up pretty fast.
It better. That'll be great. A great final, a great final champ, a great championship in general, and a good Monday that we have upcoming for sure, and a great Monday that we just wrapped up. That being the Cup Car Cup, and thank you to the goat. Well, just the whole social media team as in general, but especially to the goat, Mr. Callum Kerrigan, because he got us some pretty
He's been
looking
furiously typing
final.
away.
Yeah,
Furiously
the
typing away.
championship standings while we've been interviewing everybody, but it is, as we knew already, Nico Kumpu, the overall victor and the victor in class in the Lamborghinis. Andy Boardman in second, Miso Stubna, the champion in the Porsches, and third overall. Super impressive from him, outscoring Matt Malcolm, who's in fourth by a very narrow margin. Joe Dauber finished fifth, Timo Roskam sixth, Emo Plate the champion in the Ferraris, who was admittedly quicker than a lot of cars that perhaps shouldn't have been, but was able to seal the deal here at Monza. Peter Varga finished in 8th, Mike Redford 9th, Kevin Boss 10th, Ted Edwards in 11th, Raphael Huel 12th, Adam Krexke 13th, Osio Larata 14th, Lily Armstrong 15th, Tautvidas Finkinis in 16th, Farkas Patrick in 17th, Red Bushitera in 18th, and Miriam Sestar and Lars Euchre yet again. They're on the sheet by name alone. But that is the Cup Car Cup. That is enough from us here on RCI. Here for this Monday, we will be back in a couple weeks. We'll actually be for everything's kind of lined up. That there's just going to be a couple of weeks where there will be nothing from us. We'll be coming back with a Friday champ and a Monday champ. Of course, Monday starts in 3 weeks, and the Fridays will begin again in earnest in about 2.5 weeks. Signups for that are all up for both championships. Final thank you to our partners, Ready Set Sim, Coach Dave Delta, Moser Racing, Greenman Gaming, Pimax, and of course, Motorsport UK. Thank you to all the drivers who made this championship possible, as always. Thank you to all the wonderful RCI staff people who make things possible. Thank you to Mr. Bibby. Thank you to Mr. Kerwin. Thank you to Joseph and anybody else who, of course, Callum Kerrigan, who's also in the box with me as well. All of our wonderful commentary people. We may be gone for a little bit, but we will be back in earnest in a couple weeks here at RCI. Don't injure yourself accidentally or otherwise.
Be careful around
nice.
wakeboards. Drink some water.
I wasn't wakeboarding. I was doing something else. Drink water. That's a good one. Be nice to animals. Be nice to yourself. I don't know. Go eat some ice cream or something.
And sign up
Yeah.
in a Jag.
And sign up in a job.
You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Get behind the wheel, let's go. Grip the road, feel the flow. Thunder roaring, steel alive. Live this dream and drive. Tires burning with gasoline. Push the limits, chasing green. One shot, don't slow. Go on, we'll take control. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. Chasing taillights. We're chasing taillights. The miles they fade, but they don't die. Faster now, the hours fly by. Sweat and gears, hearts in sync. On the edge, on the brink. Clock ticks down, stakes are high. One mistake, we kiss us goodbye. Don't slow down, we're not done. Finish line for the strong ones. Engines scream alive tonight. Blazing past the red line. Outrun the night, won't lose this fight. Follow the road, red line for show. We're chasing taillights, don't let go. Under the stars, we'll go so far. This is who we are. Chasing taillights.